Amongst the many things that the Cybertruck does not come with is mud flaps. So you got a little bit of a lip there, but what ends up happening is essentially this gets all streaked by mud and rain and debris. Not so much up front, but it does occur. So for $100, you can do it yourself. You can pop out the rivets, pop them back in, plug and play a little drain hole there with mud flaps. But the interesting part was this small amount of equipment came in a very large package, which I've been looking for a heat shield for my front window, and so I decided to keep an eye out for a very large box that might do the trick. And it just happens to be that the $100 mud flaps come with a box about the size of the windshield. So we're going to see what we can do with that. All right, so far I have done 0 modifications to the box, and it is just right to the corners. If I had to guess, we're gonna have to take some of the top out and contour it around the camera, obviously. But other than that, this thing is pretty much Cybertruck windshield size box. Again, from the Cyber mud flaps. So lesson number one, one end of the box actually has curved corners and would seem to make for a better fit in those corners. However, as you can see, this end is not as wide as the other end. So we're gonna go ahead and use the original squared corner part of the box in order to reach these extremities. So I've got this flush to the end, and then raising it up, found the point at which the camera starts to take over, drew a rough sketch, at which point this won't matter too much because it's gonna get wrapped, and we'll see that here in a bit. Doesn't have to be exact. So we've got pretty good coverage, and again, the only manipulation I've done so far is just to cut out a camera size thing in the middle. There's a little bit of excess up on top still. Yeah, we may trim some of that when we get to it, but otherwise, we'll get this thing wrapped in some insulation and that should do it. All right, let's recap. Tesla sent me a big old box for mud flaps. We're gonna take off top wings, and that is generally the size of the windshield, and then cut out as much as you need to make room for the camera. Now we're gonna wrap it. Here we are, wrapped in reflective insulation. 3 rows of it. Big sail. And you can see, so really it's just a slight pull over on the corners, and then top left and top right are folded in, otherwise duct taped, and all the places it needs to be. Again, exactly at the crease, cut off those wings, and it's just secured there. So here we are. It's not great, but it'll do the trick. Head out to that desert. That's about as good as you're gonna get. So how about those mud flaps? Well, although the instructions were horrible, it actually secures really well with bolts. It does, you know, it is an afterthought. So there's some gaps. It's not secure at the top, it's just secure there and then again at the bottom. So it's not going anywhere, but I mean, you're just adding more panel gaps to already problematic vehicle. So I think they're required, like here in the Pacific Northwest at least. But I don't know, they could have designed them better. What do you think? I don't know if they add to the aesthetic, but I don't think they take away from it.